Hello, thanks for joining us on the 6:15 primetime newscast in the English language on Canal, the international. Thanks for joining me. My name is Gladys Sambudiban. Stay tuned for our major stories. Following threats from separatist fighters in the northwest region of Cameroon, the town of Bamenda has since this Tuesday morning joined the southwest region to observe a lockdown. From mouth to ear and on social media, messages have been making rounds of an imminent dead city, especially after the kidnap of the market master of the food market and rare gunshots heard this morning. And we also talk about the state of school buses and how they are overloaded at the start of the new school year. Some of the children are obliged to stand up for long distances from their homes to school, while others board minibuses as early as 5:30 a.m. You shall have an in-depth story in this newscast. And then talking about how to promote import substitution by reducing or exonerating certain taxes on local enterprises and improve the business climate in Cameroon with encouraging incentives. It is part of discussions that kicked off today in Douala between the public and private sector on the theme assessment and perspectives of reforms to modernize the tax system in Cameroon. Business person prime time newscast in the English. Lockdown after the kidnap of the
Bamenda and the north as a whole ghost town of Monday. He said that sepsis and the market master of was reportedly kidnapped. Ghost town of Monday. He said that sepsis and the market morning perturbing that has characterized for some in Bamenda, one respective people who had pressing businesses as characterized last week to begin the new
school year. We look at this buses, most of which are of 5:30 a.m. Reports are
of V school. Now the reporters resisted their homes. The transport has been described in their homes to catch up with time. Buses pick up schedule schedule
so as to avoid congestion and brutality in the buses, because when the children are not well placed in the school buses, at times they start fighting.
Some parents have raised concerns on the overloaded buses. Some are taking upon themselves to cross-check each time their kids board or drop down a minibus. As parents, we have that responsibility to check on the buses transporting our children. I constantly check on the spot, take into consideration the cleanliness, arrival time and departure time.
If the population that is supposed to take the school bus increased, then we are obliged to buy a third bus.
According to parents, the security of their kids is primordial, and failure to do so only pushes them to be hard on the school administration.
And as we are in the second week of the new school year, parents are aware that it is a turning point for their children and must not miss out for the year. In the following editorial, Kejang Henry Tembe looks at the
themselves as enemy of people, and their attitude is selfish, wicked, insensitive, hypocritical.
And as the children move into the second week of the academic calendar year, conflicting parties have all agreed that the children should be left out of the conflict.
Those who are doing or promoting such an incredibly wicked campaign are also constituting themselves as enemies of the people and are also violating the fundamental human rights of the children in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon.
When the Allied forces confronted the Taliban in Afghanistan, the children enjoyed their education despite the thundering explosion of hypersonic weapons. Education was even the most enjoyable thing in Afghanistan. The world was aggrieved when a Russian rocket hit an Ukrainian school, killing 23 children. That certainly was a mistake, for no one should dare attack a citadel of knowledge, because these very schools will produce rocket scientists of tomorrow. Regrettably, 350 schools were destroyed in the Iraqi war, while dozens of schools and universities were used for military purposes by conflicting parties. Education cannot wait, at least to go by the United Nations Under-Secretary for Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief, Martin Griffiths. Other things can wait, but not the education of the Cameroonian child.
We now talk about preparations for the 2023 finance reforms in Cameroon. The Directorate General for Taxes is currently in Cameroon's economic city, Douala, and for 3 days we'll be meeting business persons of the private sector to discuss on adjustments in the finance reforms. We equally talk about how to promote import substitution by exonerating or reducing certain taxes in order to improve the business climate in Cameroon. Have more in this report.
This public-private discussion is crucial to the preparation of the 2023 finance law to preempt usual disagreements by the private sector over certain measures adopted without its consent, and especially as adjustment to tax reforms must take into consideration impacts of the current socio-political and health crisis as well as the Ukrainian conflict.
That's why we came to Douala to discuss with them, to gather their concerns and contribution in the drafting of the new tax law. This visit will enable us to collect their concern and draft an effective finance law as far as tax measures are concerned.
It is an occasion for business persons to express their worries.
Nous avons saisi l'occasion pour présenter au directeur.
We have used this opportunity to present some tax issues concerning the microfinance sector. I asked the tax director to reflect on possibility of exonerating Category 2 microfinance establishments from the value-added taxes on loans below 2 million francs CFA, just like Category 1 microfinance institution.
We wanted today to present to the government our proposition of tax on 3 points. Firstly, proposition to encourage made in Cameroon, proposition to encourage company in telecommunication.
The Director of Taxes took time to respond to their worries, reassuring them of their contributions as he commended significant progress made over the years with new reforms.
We have made progress in the revenue mobilization, in building also a friendly environment for the business community. And we were sincere with them. We told them that we know that there are still many challenges in the pipe, and we came here in Douala to discuss these challenges with them.
The progress over the years has been attributed to improvements of the business climate, the promotion of socio-economic activities, and the optimization of tax revenue collection.
And specific actions to equalize opportunities, benefits, and access for social inclusion of persons with disability is currently under discussion in the nation's capital, Yaoundé. On the discussion table this Tuesday are government ministers, civil society organizations, and other actors for the rights of persons with disabilities. Omokusome tells us more.
Thus far, several actions are carried out to address the specific needs of persons with disabilities. In the health sector, for example, there have been an unprecedented increase in the technical level of the services offered in the medical and functional rehabilitation of persons with disabilities and more. In education, nearly 3,000 disabled students or those born by disabled parents benefit from school placements each year, and some 69 pilot inclusive schools have been created throughout the national territory, these for inclusive education.
In order to capitalize on the talents and potentialities of persons with disability.
Important to valorize the potential of these persons who, though disabled, are very abled.
Most of them are well educated. They are not illiterate. If you see what handicaps are doing, you really know that they are talented. They can do a lot, but they don't have the opportunity to do that because at first they were marginalized.
The National Committee for the Socio-Economic Readaptation and Rehabilitation of Persons with Disabilities, meeting this Tuesday in Yaoundé, has as objective evaluate the efforts made so far to boost their working strategies.
Identifying and consolidating multi-sectorial perspective, raising the awareness of actors in the training and recruitment chain.
The contractors include 3 government ministers for secondary education, employment and vocational training, and social affairs, those from the civil society, international organizations and associations.
We talk about water that has gone dry in the nation's capital, Yaoundé. It has gone for weeks, days, and even months that families are without the precious liquid. Portable water production stations at Akomiada on the banks of the Nyong River has been endowed recently with a new unit to boost production. The producers or the contractors are working to meet the September 30 deadline. Beatrice Gamo has more on the story.
The Akomiada portable water production unit was constructed to generate some 190,000 cubic meters of water a day. But this far, they are able to produce just 130,000, 60,000 cubic meters less. The reason advanced is the inability of the ultra-filtration unit put in place since 2019 to produce the additional because of breakdown. Further explanation from Cam Water is that the set filter is very sensitive to the strong, disturbing sediments or leaves from the dark Nyong water, and as such needs to be readapted till date still to be done. The numerous complaints from households in the capital city forced the Minister of Water Resources and Energy last September the 5th to ask Cam Water to redress the situation before the end of this month of September. The producers of potable water, however, are clear that it is not the definite solution to the water penury rocking Yaoundé. The 37-year-old treatment station is as aged as its equipment, while the dysfunctioning noticed now and again. The insufficiency this last week in Yaoundé is linked greatly to the chemical composition. Polymer, the main substance for water treatment, in insufficient stock. The said product by the French company Solevo for some months has not been enough. They have promised to do so in the next 3 days. Nevertheless, the water production company is working to ensure the ultra-filtration of water goes operational before the September 30th deadline. And the general manager gave the assurance that they will continue working to ensure water from the Akomiada unit meets the quality of good potable water according to WHO standards to the welfare and well-being of consumers.
And we talk religion. The senior pastor and the general overseer of Omega Fire Ministry Churches is currently in Cameroon for a mega program that entails in-depth prayers for the restoration of Cameroon that will last for 2 days. Baptize the mighty turnaround Cameroon. The prophet of God says it is time for Cameroon to embrace peace. Morindi tells us more.
It is not his first time to Cameroon. Some years back, the Nigerian apostle Johnson Suleiman pulled Cameroonians from all nooks and crannies for mega prayers that completely changed the stories of many. It is a similar mission to Cameroon this September 12, 2022, with focus on bringing back peace to the restive northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon.
Many years ago, when you try to check genealogy, you discover that everybody has a connection to somebody. It's very satanic, and it's an agenda of hell to make nations divide, to make Anglophone, Francophones fight themselves. It's not of God, no matter the explanation to it. Anything that will lead to the shed of blood and taking of life is not of God. So we came, number 1, to preach peace. Number 2, to pray peace. Number 3, to decree peace. It's a crusade of unity because the Francophones will be attending, the Anglophones will be attending. So it's an opportunity to tell them that there's no need for this fighting.
The senior pastor and general overseer of Omega Fire Ministries International Church is holding prayers on September 13 and 14 in Douala at the city's Omispo Stadium. The Nigerian apostle says it's time for both Anglophones and Francophones to come together and embrace the most cherished peace.
And believe God that this outburst in Africa that has become almost like a cancer in different African countries will come to an end. And we're believing God for blessings. We are believing God for everything God has in store for Cameroonians. And that's why we came to join our faith with all the ministers in Cameroon to say it's a new season for Cameroonians.
Baptized, mighty turnaround, Christians from all denominations have been called upon to attend the life-changing mega prayers.
It is with that peace message from that senior prophet that we wrap up this edition of the primetime newscast in the English language on Canal International. The French edition will be yours at 7:50 p.m. with Alain Gisler Kanga. Up next is the brief de l'actualité with Lil Piedju. I will be yours again same time tomorrow, God's willing. Bye-bye.